Overthinking is mental paralysis. It's not a new word, it's not foreign to us. We have heard it, talked about it, scrolled past it on social media more times than we can count. And every time we nodded, we related, and we moved on. But here is the uncomfortable truth: most of us overthink without even realizing we are doing it. We innocently assume it as deep thinking, being thoughtful, being careful. But frankly, many of those thoughts are not depth, they are symptoms of overthinking. In today's world, overthinking feels unavoidable and hence normal, almost human. But when it becomes repeated, it stretches over time beyond what's healthy, it quietly begins to cost you. Overthinking doesn't show on your face, it leaves marks inside, invisible, unnamed, often unnoticed even by you. No one tells you that you are stuck in it. That's why understanding overthinking at the root level really matters. Not to judge yourself, not to fix yourself overnight, but to slowly learn what it is, why it happens, and how it loosens its grip. Before we go further, one distinction needs to be clear. Overthinking is the mind running without awareness, repetitive, anxious, pulled into past and future, trying to control outcomes. Spirituality is different. It is awareness. It is observing thoughts without getting trapped in them. Overthinking happens when the mind is unattended. Spirituality begins when you learn to watch the mind instead of being pulled by it. That's what this episode is all about. What is overthinking? I mean, to understand why it affects us so deeply, we first need to understand what overthinking actually is. Overthinking is when your mind starts replaying the same thought again and again, like a song stuck on loop. It feels like thinking, but it's not. It's worrying in disguise. You keep asking yourself, what if, what could go wrong, what should I have done differently? And the mind keeps circling without landing anywhere. Here is the truth most of us miss: you don't solve anything by replaying it, you only drain your peace. The more you think, the less you act. The less you act, the more you doubt. And that cycle, that's the real trap. Overthinking doesn't mean you care too much. It means your mind doesn't know when to rest. Sometimes the mind doesn't need another answer. It just needs a gentle stop, a breath, a pause, a reminder that not every thought deserves attention. Peace doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from trusting that you will handle whatever happens next. That's the real freedom. When your mind becomes your companion, not your cage. And just to be clear, overthinking is not spirituality. Awareness of overthinking is often where spirituality begins. And once you understand what overthinking is, you begin to notice when it shows up. Overthinking rarely shows up when life is loud. It doesn't come when you are busy, when you are surrounded by people, or when the day is demanding your attention. It usually arrives when things slow down, late at night, when the phone is aside, and your mind finally gets space to speak. It shows up after conversations that didn't go the way you hoped. Things you said, things you did not say, moments you replay again and again, thinking, I should have handled that a little better. Overthinking also strikes when decision carries emotional weight. Choices about relationships, career, trust, letting go, holding on. It appears when you care deeply but feel utterly powerless and unsure of the outcome. You overthink what feels too important to lose. When the heart is invested and the future feels absolutely unclear, the mind steps in as a defense mechanism trying to protect you. And that's why overthinking feels so intense, because it's connected to what you value the most. And this brings us to the deeper question: why does the mind do this at all? Overthinking is born from fear disguised as responsibility. Fear of making the wrong decision, disappointing others, being misunderstood, repeating past mistakes, losing control. You will always notice many overthinkers were once people who learned to be careful too early in life. People who were rewarded for being mature or responsible. People who were blamed for things beyond their control. So their mind learned a rule: if I think enough, I can prevent pain. But pain unapologetically doesn't obey logic, and life doesn't follow scripts. And here is where overthinking begins to quietly distort reality. Overthinking creates a quiet illusion. If I find that perfect thought, I'll finally feel at peace. But peace doesn't come from perfect answers. It comes from accepting imperfect outcomes. Overthinking slowly changes how you see the world. It turns possibilities into threats, delays into disasters, silence into rejection. And over time, it creates a world that feels hostile, even when nothing is actually happening. And living in that mental world comes with a cost. Overthinking slowly drains you. It steals sleep, weakens intuition, reduces confidence. It keeps you stuck in preparation mode, always thinking, rarely moving. It disconnects you from the present moment. You begin to feel tired without doing much, exhausted without movement. Because your mind has been running marathons while your life stands still. And once you notice this, you might wonder why it's so hard to stop overthinking. You cannot force overthinking to stop. The more you fight it, the louder it becomes. Because overthinking is not the problem, it's a symptom. The real issue is emotional avoidance, fear of uncertainty, lack of trust in your ability to adapt. You are not afraid of failure, you are afraid of not knowing how you will survive it. And this is the moment where something important needs to shift. Here is the truth most people avoid. You were never meant to control outcomes. You were meant to respond to them. Overthinking is an attempt to live life in advance. But life only happens in the present. You don't need certainty to move forward. You need self trust. Trust that you can handle discomfort. You can recover from mistakes. You can adjust when things go wrong. And this is where real change begins. You don't silence overthinking, you outgrow it by choosing action over rumination, by accepting incomplete answers, by letting discomfort exist without fixing it, by grounding yourself in the present moment. Ask better questions. What is in my control right now? What one small action can I take? What am I avoiding feeling? Movement dissolves overthinking, not solutions, movement. And as that happens, something begins to settle. A calm mind is not empty, it is trusting. You stop asking, what if everything goes wrong? And start asking, if it does, will I survive? And the answer always is yes. Clarity comes after action, not before. Peace comes from presence, not prediction. And finally, this needs to be said. Overthinking doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you care. It means you are human. It means your mind learned to protect, even if it learned imperfectly. You don't need to think less. You need to trust yourself a bit more. And slowly, Without force, the noise fades.